WRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for a journey, not to the final frontier, but into outer space to join our friends in the, everybody says this is the one show where the next generation is not said, Star Trek, if they were announcing the show, they'd say, I don't know what you're talking about. The next generation. We're currently flying the Enterprise within our timeline. So, but it's a popular title. It's easy. TNG. Holy cow! Is that sleep with TNG? It's time. Oh, where are you? Sorry if you're new. Welcome. This is Sleep With Me. The podcast that's here to take your mind off stuff and keep you company so that you can fall asleep. Later, we'll be talking about Star Trek The Next Generation, but in a way that probably is so oblique and incoherent, obviously, that you'll be more like a bedtime story. But this show's here to take your mind off stuff and keep you company so that you can fall asleep. I appreciate you checking it out. What we got coming up here is some support. That's how the show's free twice a week. Then a long intro to help ease you into bedtime. And podcast is a bit different. Like I said, it's to keep you company and take your mind off of stuff more so than to put you to sleep. You just kind of fall asleep because you're like, this guy's just rambling on and on and on. Not bad, though. And we make the show because we know how it feels in the deep, dark night, and you deserve a good night's sleep. So I'm so glad you're here. I appreciate you coming by. And here's the ways we're able to be here for free twice a week. Hey, everybody, Scoots. And I don't know how you're listening to Sleep With Me right now, but don't you want to be listening to the show in the most comfortable way possible? How about with a little bit of a Sleep With Me swag on your forehead? So, I mean, and maybe anybody else, say, oh boy, sleeping with my boyfriend here. Well, the most comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me is with sleep phones, and you could get Sleep With Me branded sleep phones at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones. It's amazing, comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me. They have wireless sleep phones. They have corded sleep phones. They have wireless with wireless charging sleep phones. So you don't need your phone there. And you won't keep your partner awake or your pet awake. They're great for running. They cover your ears. Some people even pull them down over their eyes. And you could get those at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones. Treat yourself in the new year, because I don't know which way you're listening to Sleep With Me now. Don't you want to listen the most comfortable way? That's sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones, and use Sleep With Me, one word, Sleep With Me at checkout for $5 off. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it is time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Helix. Get over to helixsleep.com, and I want you to take that 2-minute sleep quiz, helixsleep.com/sleep. Let me know what mattress you get matched with. I have the Helix Dusk Deluxe. That's because I sleep hot. I sleep on my side. I sleep on my stomach. But Helix has a bunch of different mattress models to choose from, and I want you to start the new year right. Think about your sleep and think about the mattress you have. Take that quiz. Just see what you get matched with. Let me know. helixsleep.com/sleep. Helix is a premium mattress brand that provides tailored mattresses that are based on your unique sleep preferences. They have 14 unique mattresses. That includes a collection of luxury models, a mattress for big and tall sleepers, even a mattress for kids. And I talked about how that Helix quiz helps you match a mattress that works best for you. And that personalized mattress is shipped straight to your door free of charge. And Helix knows there's no better way to test out a mattress than at home by sleeping on it. And that's why they have a 100-night risk-free trial. You get to try out your new Helix, see how your body adjusts. If it's not the best fit, you're welcome to return it for a full refund. And as I said, Helix knows everybody's unique, everybody sleeps different. That's why they have so many different mattress models to choose from. There's models with memory foam that provide pressure relief if you sleep on your side, models with more responsive foam that cradles your body if you're a stomach or back sleeper, enhanced cooling features to keep you from overheating, and if your spine needs some extra TLC, TLC, every Helix mattress is a hybrid design that's individually wrapped steel coils with premium foam layers on top. Perfect combination of comfort and support. Like I said, I love my Helix Dusk Lux. Keeps me cool, keeps me comfortable. And not only is it the best mattress I've slept on, but it's so fast and easy. Comes straight to your door, shipped for free. Helix mattresses are American made. They come with a 10 or 15 year warranty, depending on the model. And you get to try it out 100 nights risk free. So take that quiz. If you don't love it, I mean, I know you will, but if you don't, they'll pick it up for you, give you a full refund. And if you don't want to take Scoots' word for it, Helix was the #1 mattress pick by GQ and Wired magazine, recommended by multiple leading chiropractors and doctors of sleep medicine as a go-to solution for improving your sleep. So take that quiz. HelixSleep.com/sleep. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows at HelixSleep.com/sleep. With Helix, better sleep starts now. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it is time for the Sleepy Supporter Zone, and I'm looking for Sleepy Supporters. Sleepy Supporters are what make the magic of Sleep With Me happen. Everything on Sleep With Me comes down to listener action, whether it's directly supporting the show on Patreon or Apple Podcasts or supporting our sponsors. Right now, we're down to 3 sponsors, which isn't a great place, but don't worry, I'm committed. The show will keep coming out in the magic of being over an hour, twice a week for free. That's not going to change, but if you're hearing this and you can remember tomorrow to check out ZocDoc, to check out Progressive, to check out Helix, to let them know you heard about them on the show, right in the show notes of your podcast app are the links to their resources. Please do so I can thank you here on the Sleepy Supporter Zone, because you'll be a part of that magic. The show comes out twice a week for free and episodes are over an hour. And that's why I take the time to thank people, because you make it possible, because that's really what I believe makes the show work, is that consistency, the quality, and the frequency. So please help me out. If you could support the show, supporter sponsors is a huge help. I'll try to thank you here on the Sleepy Supporter Zone. That's the first part. The second part is you getting the support you need. There's links to resources in the show notes you could check out right now. It's about being a part of positive change, being a part of community, not just saying Black Lives Matter, not just saying stop AAP, I hate, not just saying support Ukraine, but taking action, learning more. And there's links to resources and places you could do that in our show notes. We're building hygiene kits as a community for people experiencing homelessness in our communities, and you can join that effort at sleepwithmepodcast.com/midnight mission. And that's it. Mystery Bard, a lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at jonathanmann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. Don't forget, check out our sponsors, support them, use their free tools, sleepwithmepodcast.com/sponsors. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. And what I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake, whether that's thoughts on your mind, like things you're thinking of, like thoughts about the past, the present, the future, thoughts that are just there, pesky thoughts, holy cow. Thoughts about, when I'm recording this, it's during the World Series. But there's something in baseball. I don't watch a ton of baseball, but it's called they call one of the foul poles the pesky pole. And I'm not sure if that's, but probably because, I don't know. Pesky. That's an interesting word, huh? Oh, but whatever it is, thoughts, it could be feelings coming up for you. Because the one thing is, the reason I just changed the subject, sorry about that, fans of pesky. I just said, well, you know what, if I was a thought, I wouldn't want to be called, I don't know what pesky means exactly, but I don't know if I'd want to be called pesky. But, you know, even if I am a persistent thought that's not soothing about the past, present, the future, maybe some feelings coming up for you related to those thoughts or feelings that are just there. It could be physical sensations, changes in time, temperature, routine, whatever it is that's keeping you awake. I'm here to take your mind off of that and keep you company so that you could fall asleep. And as I said earlier, the reason I make this show is because you really do deserve a good night's sleep. I mean, you know it, but sometimes it doesn't feel that way, right? So if you don't ever hear anything else I say or you never listen to the show again, I just want to reinforce that. You deserve a bedtime you could feel good about or feel neutral about instead of one you dread if you're like me and you say, oh, you know, well, I got to deal with that later. I hope it's not like it was last night. Or, oh boy, Sunday, it's Friday. That means Sunday will be here soon. Like, I know how that feels. And it doesn't feel good, or a lot of the other stuff. And there's a lot of other listeners that are listening right now that know how it feels. And maybe I don't know exactly what you're going through, or I haven't been through it myself, but there's a lot of us that could relate to it. And that's why I say that you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve the rest you need so your life is more manageable. And if you get that rest, that's a gift to everybody. It really is. So I hope this show can help, but it just doesn't work for everybody. That's the flip side of everything I said, is that this podcast is very different. Doesn't work for everybody, but for most of the people it works for on a regular basis that reach out to me, they said it took 2 or 3 tries to get used to the show. So if you don't like the podcast or you're not sure about it, that's a pretty normal experience. Or if you're back, another normal experience is loathing the show or stronger than that. And then coming back later on and say, you know what, I'm going to give that show one more try. Somebody else recommended it to me. And I trust their judgment, even though I don't know what this dude just keeps rambling on and on and on. But I'll give it a try. Oh, okay. This really is a podcast that's always going nowhere. Sleep with me. It's a podcast that's running it idle at the same time. The podcaster that's pesky, even though he's not 100% sure what pesky means, or is he comfortable using that term to describe his own thoughts, even the thoughts that could be considered pesky? Because my thoughts would say, well, we're just doing our best, right? I mean, that's what a lot of it is at bedtime. And what does the best mean? What does doing my best mean if for a sleep podcast? Well, I'll send my voice across the deep, dark night. Then I'm going to use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, which means my voice is not traditionally soothing. It's more here to be some background noise. And then I'll go on pointless meanders and superfluous tangents. You've already seen quite a few. That's where I get distracted. I forget what I was talking about. Then I talk about something again. Then I repeat myself. Then I say, what was I talking? Pesky. How do you even P-E-S-K? Huh. You're right. How do you spell pes, P-E-S, key, K-E-Y or K-Y? Or is it K-I-E? Pesky pole. I don't know. Would that be on the left field or the right field? Is the left field is it the left field and the right field? Who's left field and who's right field? Is it the umpires or the people out there? No, not kidding. I mean, if somebody would if I played baseball, or the few times I did, I was just like you'd imagine. I did not want a ball. I said, please don't hit a ball near me. Please don't hit a ball near me. But they'd say, are you the left fielder? I'd have to hold out my hand and make an L. And then I'd say, this is my left hand. I don't know. Good question. Okay, so what else was I? Oh, so I sent my voice, lulling, soothing, creaky up, pointless meanders and superfluous tangents, all to keep you company and take your mind off stuff so you could fall asleep. And what that means is this is a podcast you don't really listen to, and it doesn't really put you to sleep. I'm here to be a little bit more than background noise. I would not call it elevated background noise, but I'd say, well, it's kind of like background noise you could listen to, but you don't need to. So this is a podcast you say, oh, okay. Huh. Yeah, you're talking about stuff, huh? Oh, yeah, you really do go nowhere. You really are in idle and running. And even though this is kind of the original sleep podcast, even though like I don't put you to sleep, I'm here to keep you company while you fall asleep. But if you can't sleep, like I said, I've been having trouble sleeping. If you can't sleep for some reason, I'm going to be here to the very end to keep you company, whether you're awake or asleep, whether you're listening or not. So there's no pressure at all to fall asleep. Just fall asleep when you do. And I'll be here to keep you company in a pleasant enough way where you say, well, that's not bad. He's the podcaster that the only water he's endorsed in official capacity is tepid water, lukewarm water. That's Sleep With Me is the lukewarm water of tepid podcast, the tepid oh boy, is he. It's a podcast that loves to say riparian area, and he doesn't know exactly what that means, except he'd say, would I encounter tepid water in a riparian area? I'm guessing, depending on the time of year. I think and people are like, come on, you know what? And I say, well, I know I've seen a sign that said repair. This is that described what a riparian area, RIP, repair. I don't know. I mean, this podcast needs some repairing, repairing, but riparian is like RIP, RIAN or something. I don't know. I think it means like a forest near water or like related to a river, maybe with some water, something. That's why this is the type of water facts and podcasts. So I'm here to keep you company and take your mind off stuff, not to put you to sleep. Again, as I said, if you're new, it does take a couple tries to get used to this show because at first you're looking for something that, you want to put you to sleep, right? You've probably tried a bunch of different stuff. You either heard about this podcast or someone shared it with you or you discovered it on a search. And that's a place when you're looking for something because you can't sleep. It's not a good place to be in. We've all been there. That's why I try to make it friendly around here. Because you say, or you could be wearing a pajama shirt that says #1 riparian area fan. And you'd say, and I'd say, okay, I understand. You could never forgive me. I understand I've broken your trust with my vocabulary. And I understand if you need to move on, you needed to move on. Are you going to move on to a riparian area? Like somewhat like, I don't know. I feel like it's like some sort of a salamander that's doing that too. So I say, oh boy, are you the only salamander listening to this podcast? And I lost all the salamander. You see, again? No. All the salamanders that listen to my podcast this time. Oh, what about the other salamanders? Mom, that was 20, whatever. That was a long time ago. I apologize for that one. And I didn't lose them. I lost track of them and, and then they moved into our home, and became residents with us. It was, I made our home and I made our house into a riparian home, maybe. Okay. Enough nonsense. So what else? Oh, so structure the show. That's another thing that throws people off if you're new. So let me tell you about the structure show. Starts off with a greeting, friends will be on the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Star Trek, The Next Generation, barely I could barely make something humorous. But the whole start of the show is so you feel seen and welcomed in. And you say, oh, maybe I'll check this podcast out for a few more minutes and try, because I am trying to fall asleep. So thank you for that. Then there's support for the show, so it could be free. And again, that makes it easier to try out or easier to use it. And paying for it is optional. or supporting the sponsors is, can do that instead of paying for the show. Then there's support for listeners and communities around the show and stuff like that. Then there's the intro, which is separate from the support. And I always say this because sometimes people they lump it all together and then they miss out on the intro. And that's the number one thing I get from people that are fans of the show is the intros where some of the relatable stuff happens that you get to sleep through. You see, I always thought I was the only one that read signs in wildlife areas and only remembered one or two things about them. And I say, that's the most relatable thing I ever said, huh? Well, that, and you can't, and I say, okay, well, I mean, those are nice signs for the most part. You know what I'm talking about, especially when they have diagrams. Oh, boy. I apologize. I've read those signs. I just can't retain them. And I know there's a lot of you out there, including siblings of mine, that can retain that stuff. And they say, no, okay, again, let me go over this. I work in a science museum. So please, in case of my coworkers are listening, shout out to those coworkers at the California Academy. This is a podcast that has no science, but where was I? Just sneaking a shout out there. So, the intro, then the support. Oh, the intro goes on and on and on. One, to introduce new people to the show, and you say, okay, this is what we're dealing with. Okay, I know some people like this. They can't make any sense, but they keep talking. And I say, that's me exactly. So, yeah, if you had that person on call and you could use them you say, you couldn't do that in a normal situation. You say, go ahead and give me a call and tell me about your last few signs you read. Oh, boy. So glad you're going to pay strict, close attention to this as I run through these signs I took pictures of. I have pictures. You say, no, I'm going to fall asleep. Well, there's a that's not in the social compact. You can't do that. But, if you're going to tell me about these signs, no, I mean, I can only do it if you're going to pay close attention or at least pretend to, because that's the, social compact. Okay, never mind. I will try that podcast one more time. Maybe that's what happens to people that go and then they come back 2 or 3 years later. So the intro goes on and on and on, though. To ease you into bedtime. The intro is actually not here to put you to sleep. Some people fall asleep during the intro. But for most listeners, it's a little bit of a buffer between your waking time and your sleeping time. And if you really start to become a regular listener, you can make it part of your wind down routine, or you're getting ready for bed, or you're in bed getting comfortable routine. Because it's just what's been shown to work, and what's worked for me most of the time, not this week, is like easy. Oh, and I guess part of this week is that I don't have my full routine, but it just helps. It makes it in bedtime a little bit nicer. You say, well, I'm going to pet my cats, I'm going to doodle, and then listen to that podcast guy. So that's the intro. Then again, there's support between the intro and the story, so the show will be free. And then tonight we'll talk about Star Trek The Next Generation, an episode, and I'll just go on and on and on about it in a very calm bedtime story way. And then there's some thank yous and good nights at the end. So that's the structure of the show. That's why I make the show. So glad you're here. I really appreciate you checking the podcast out and coming by. I really hope I can help you fall asleep. So thanks again for coming by, and here's a couple ways I'm able to do it for you for free twice a week. All right, everybody, it is time to talk about that sponsor that keeps me breathing fresh air, Air Doctor. The air I breathe is always on my mind, but I don't have to worry about it, whether it's the smoke from the fires, whether it's the pollution from the freeway, allergens, people bringing in germs. Air Doctor takes care of all of that. Clean air is one of the fastest and easiest ways we can have positive impact impact on our health? Improve the quality of your indoor air with a high-quality air purifier, and all you have to do is breathe. So you gotta check out Air Doctor. You breathe over 20,000 breaths per day, and Air Doctor filters out dangerous contaminants and allergens so your lungs don't have to. Air Doctor uses an ultra HEPA filter that's been independently tested to remove 99.99% of tested bacteria and viruses. And it takes the guesswork out of clean air. It's got an auto mode feature that uses a laser sensor to detect air quality and automatically adjust to the correct filtration level. You also don't have to worry about noise with Air Doctor. They use their exclusive professional WhisperJet fans that are 30% quieter than the fans found in ordinary air purifiers. That means you can run Air Doctor at the highest speeds while still enjoying a peaceful home environment. You know, Americans spend 90% of our time indoors, and according to the EPA, indoor air can be 2 to 5 times more polluted than outside air. I got the Air Doctor upstairs. I got the Air Doctor downstairs. When I'm working, it's there. When my daughter's sleeping, it's there. When I'm sleeping, it's there. I can breathe through my nose. But I also just have that peace of mind. I don't have to think about what's in the air we're breathing. And I'm so happy we have the extra protection. Air Doctor comes with a no questions asked, a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't love it, just send it back for a refund minus shipping. So get over there. It's airdoctorpro.com and use the promo code SLEEP. And depending on the model, you'll receive up to 35% off. That's up to 35% off, but only if you go to AIRDOCTORPRO.com and use that promo code SLEEP. airdoctorpro.com and use that promo code SLEEP. Thanks, everybody. Sleep With Me is brought to you by Progressive. Have you tried the Name Your Price tool yet? It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. It's easy to start a quote, and you'll be able to find a rate that works for you. It's just one of the many ways you could save with Progressive. Get your quote today at Progressive.com and see why 4 out of 5 new auto customers recommend Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. All right, everybody, Scoots here. We're talking about Season 5, Episode 3, Ensign Ro. Oh, the places you'll go, Ensign Ro. I don't know, but I had rhyming so. And this episode I saw quite a while ago. I realized we never did it for the podcast. I thought like with the Cardassians and the Bajorans coming up last week, it would be cool to learn a little bit more this week. And then maybe we'll delve into some more Guinan, I think. But this starts off with a haircut, a little trim, the end of a haircut with Picard. And actually, I have it paused, and who is it? Mr. Mott's hand is above Picard's head, and you can kind of see where the paint on his hands or the stuff on his hands has come off from touching things. But, you know, you wouldn't be able to see that in a normal show. But yeah, Mott has a lot to say. He's in the middle of talking. I like how the scene picks up right in the middle of the conversation. There's a time when you do, time when you don't. Wouldn't you say, Picard kind of sighs, grimaces. One doesn't always have that luxury, Mott. Got to choose a time and place. True or false, Mott says. Whenever possible. Says Picard got lucky. He's very forceful with Picard's head, too. Suppose all's well that ends well. But if I'd have been you, well, and Picard's like, that's great. Let's get out of here. And he says, one more thing. Let me use a laser shaver on your, what do you call those things? Lamb chops or whatever they're called. Sideburns. You know, and he says, well, you know, Commander Riker agrees with me 100% on how to deal with this stuff. This is Mr. Mott. He's a blue-faced character. Right along the Cardassian border, Picard gets a call from the bridge. Okay, I'm on my way. And then he says something very, actually, like, you see where Mott, after Picard leaves, kind of sums up the whole episode. He says, I told him we shouldn't have colonized so close to the Cardassians. Then we see Data's hand pressing buttons. Picard asks for a report. Some signal went out. We can't get him on subspace. upper and lower band frequencies, Worf? Yeah, I tried. No response. The Solarian system. Let's get over there. 26 minutes. 100% of, sorry. Uh-oh, Mott told him. I don't know what that means. He's the best barber. Oh, but then Picard says, yo, you telling secrets to Mott? He goes, oh, he's telling me secrets. He's the best barber, though. Then they get a low frequency call or low band call, a terrible frequency. This is the Bajora. By the way, we took out that Federation colony on Solarian 4, and we want, you're not you're not doing what's right. And they say, hey, you're not doing what's right. So we're making a move, and they zoom on Picard's face. Stardate 450.76.3, Station Alpha, meeting up with Admiral Kennelly, who wants to talk about this Bajoran action. Kennelly's got a cold, or not a cold. Well, no, a cold, right? Sorry about that. Ginger tea with honey, 80 degrees Celsius. Picard orders ginger tea. Never heard of it. This Kennelly says. It's my Aunt Adele. I don't know if it was the Adele. I don't think that generationally would work, but maybe like Adele's grandchildren or Picard's parents. Yeah, I caught this at a conference with Cardassians. Yeah, they were talking about it. Same old story. They annexed Bajoran homeworld 40 years ago and took away their, and they're not happy about it, obviously, the Bajorans, because they were forced out of their homeworld, obviously. Sorry, I'm a little passive-aggressive. Picard's very matter of fact. And then he says, listen, I love the Bajorans. That's what people always start out saying when they got to say something. Yeah, they don't have their home planet. This reminds me a lot of... how to talk about something indirectly that's very, stressful, like the Yiddish Policeman's Union. Is that the whole title of that book? I read that not that long ago, and trying to think if that's the whole title of the book. Really good read, like all of this complicated stuff cloaked in, or actually, no, it's like a parallel. Enrobed? I don't know if it is enrobed in a hard-boiled detective story. But yeah, I don't know. These are totally different, but it's a way of presenting information, Chased off their planet by the Cardassians anyway. Wander the galaxy, Kennelly says. Settling wherever they can. It's too bad, but, and Picard says, yeah, no one's welcoming them either. And then he says, Kennelly says, yeah, but they're not helping their cause by, saying it's not okay. Got to be diplomatic about this, Jean-Luc. I need you to do this. Find their leader, Orta, and, get any way you can. Picard says, any way I can. That doesn't sound like, he goes like, we can't allow this to continue. It's disrupting trade, and they don't say that, but, that's between the lines. What can we offer Orta? Amnesty? Picard says, dude, that's a joke. And he goes, tell him if he agrees, we'll work on it behind the scenes, quietly, getting all this settled, every legitimate means. But Jorah got to be patient. And Picard says, Admiral, they've had generations of sympathy and promises. You can't give them more of the same. And he says, it's your job to see to it that he does. Then Riker calls, hey, somebody's coming aboard, a new person. They have orders to join. Ensign Ro Laren. Picard says, the Ro Laren from the Wellington? And what is it, a mistake? And then Admiral Kennelly says, I wrote those orders. Stay, she might be valuable. Picard says, dude, this is my ship. You sign me a new officer, especially Ro Laren. He goes, but she's Bajoran. Because there's other Bajorans in Starfleets. He says, well, with what's going on, we got to do something. Picard has pretty strong things. She shouldn't be on a ship, I don't think. He goes, I'm not asking, Picard. It's an order. And it was a lot of work to get her out of the trouble she was already in. And this is an important mission. Picard and Kennelly glare at each other. And then Picard says, Riker, proceed. And Riker goes, you kidding me, boss? He goes, yes, sir. I'm not kidding you. And he goes, I hope I don't regret this, your decision, Kennelly. He goes, don't worry about it, Jean-Luc. Then Ro Laren transfers in. I don't know if this is the first time we've met Ro Laren. I guess so, because we've seen a couple episodes, like the one where they're kids. She says, I'm reporting, she says it to Riker. She's got her orders. They say, we follow Starfleet code here on this ship, Ensign. Take off your earrings. And great performance as Laren. It's like, you're like a real put out, like, are you kidding me? This is how I am. Like, you Scoots, which character you're most like? Data? Worf? Ro Laren. With the, that's my personality type. Not too much like me. I'm not saying that's what I act like. Ro Laren, size, rolling eyes, disobeying, doing the opposite. And then Riker and Picard are meeting. People don't want to work with Ro Laren. A terrible reputation. Well, I'm going to demand the highest level of performance, nothing less. Won't be long. Don't worry, Will. And then Ro Laren shows up, and they say, Ensign Laren. She goes, it's Ensign Ro. That's the name of the thing. Bajoran custom has our family name first, individual name second. Or maybe I mixed it up, but he says, yeah, it's Ensign Ro. It's an old custom. Most Bajor these days accept this assimilation, but I do not. And Picard goes, I want to be candid. Go ahead. All right. Well, I know you didn't didn't go great on other ships. Garon 2, something happened there. And this is a delicate mission. Ro says, I don't want to be here anyway. Why'd you take the assignment? Didn't have a choice. Well, I did have a choice, but I was, sitting in, it's better than nothing, let's just say. She goes, this is not my idea, nor ours, but we're all going to work together, and we have expectations. And Ro Laren says, I know the routine. Don't worry about me. I can, I get it. We're stuck together. Let's get it over with. Then we can go our separate ways. We'll just get this mission solved. Then Riker glare, Picard nervous face. Oh boy, dismissed. Supplemental captain's log going into the Valo system on the outskirts of Cardassian, where many Bajoran have resettled. Then there's a meeting. We got 3 Class M planets, Valo 3 maybe. Jas Holsa lives there. Federation's dealt with him. Beverly says, excellent dancer. Met him at a symposium. Jazz Holtz, actually. Very concerned leader, good spokesperson, great dancer. Riker laughs. She goes, no, serious. It was a party afterwards. And Troy says, well, at least he's diplomatic. Big advantage in this mission. Okay, let's do it. And they say, Ensign Ro, you got something to say? You're familiar. You'll take the con. And Ro goes, you're wasting your time. Jas Holtz is nobody. So what if he can dance? He's a figurehead, whatever, goes to parties. No real influence. Data says, who should we speak with? And she goes, don't you understand the situation we're dealing with? People don't want to talk to the Federation anymore. It's past that. And she goes, I'm trying to make sure this all works out okay. But I don't know, and they say, okay, well, what do you think? Picard says, let's solve this problem. Where would you go? Valo 2, Southern Continent, Kiev Floor. Let's talk to Kiev Floor. No diplomatic experience, not a dancer. So Picard, Worf, Data, and Ro show up at Captain Log Supplemental looking for Kiev Floor. Oh, Picard talks about the history, fifth grade history of Bajoran architects and philosophers, like how they were way advanced than humans. But, and stop the Cardassians from, disrupting that. So we're dealing with people so Ro gives her jacket to a young girl. Then Keith Floor shows up. He says, Bleak, which means move it, kids. Ro Laren. Been a while. She goes, Keith Floor, this is Jean-Luc Picard, Commander Data and Lieutenant Worf. Thanks for meeting with us, Mr. Kiev. And so Picard shows he's learned. Please, you still remember Ro, Ensign Ro? Let's check out the camp. So they go around, you see leaking water. Hey, we're just trying to figure out what to do. We're passionate people. And Picard goes, we're trying to find this Orta guy. And Keith Floor says, nah, don't know, can't help you. And he goes, don't understand. I'm looking for a way to solve this where we can all work together, but you're bystanders. And Picard goes, but if we're bystanders, why won't you help you? He goes, yeah, because you've been bystanders the whole time. As the Cardassians took our planet and made other choices, we had to flee throughout the galaxy. And you've been more worried about the designated borders of the Cardassians and the Federation. And Picard goes, well, we can't get involved in internal affairs. He goes, yeah, well, but we're sentient beings hurting. Picard goes, well, I can offer you assistance right now. He goes, oh, because of what happened, now you're willing to do something. Maybe if I'd known that, we would have disrupted trade earlier, eh? What do you think of that, Ro? And Ro goes, listen, you're a little power hungry, Keeve. We're all trying to deal with the Cardassians. Maybe the Federation can help now, Picard says, since you've had to resettle all over the quadrant. This is not an isolated problem. We can work diplomatically on your behalf. But first, we got to have peace and trade. And Keith says, you talk about diplomacy. My worry is about blankets. And I thought they were going to stay there for the night because he goes, if you had to stay here one night, you'd understand. And then Picard goes, replicate some blankets for everybody. And Worf, Data do that. Worf figure out what else they need and provide it. And Keith says, okay, thanks. Maybe I'll give you a call. You go back to your ship. If I have any info, I'll contact you. And he goes, Ensign? He heads off. Ro and Picard are there. That was helpful. Blankets were helpful, Ro says. Nothing I said mattered. And Picard goes, they could have replicators here to feed and clothe everyone. And Ro says, yeah, I had to get away. They're lost, defeated. And she goes, I'll never be. And they walk off together. You see a little Southern California looking good. Nice height, look like a nice hiking spot. Captain's log 45077.8. Keith Floor kept his promise. By the way, he didn't make any promises, but the moon of Valo 1, we're going to meet with Orta. Then we're at 10 forward, Rose by herself having a drink. Crusher and Troy come on. They say, hey, can we join you? She's so much like Scoots. She goes, she's a little more straightforward. They go, do you mind if we join you? She goes, yeah, I do. Mind. We see somebody drinking out of like a thing. Then Jordy's like, I don't think I want to work with this Ensign Ro. Jordy's having like what looks like tea or coffee. Got to follow. I can't believe it. She doesn't belong here. Got to follow orders. She didn't even belong in the uniform as far as I'm concerned. And Guinan says, really? Guinan's in this resplendent purple outfit. Really sleep with me style. She's like, excuse me, this sounds like somebody I'd like to know. Nobody wants her on board. She says, oh, hey, by the way, Ro, am I bothering you? Oh, yeah, great. Seems like you were somebody that'd rather be, interrupted. No, I want to be alone. And she calls her out. She says, if you want to be alone, you would have stayed in your room. She goes, the only reason to come to 10 Forward is to be around other people. Who are you, by the way? Guinan, 10 Bar, and I listen. Heard anything interesting? Oh, boy, everybody's talking about you. And Rose says, interesting, And she goes, well, it's all true, whatever they say about me. And Guinan says, truth's in the eye of the beholder. And she says, isn't that beauty? Truth, beauty, works, it's just a phrase. And she goes, you never told the true story why you made your choices. You didn't even defend yourself. And Rose says, I didn't follow orders. So that's it. My fault. And Guinan says, so now you just stare at your drink alone in crowded places? Yeah, but maybe you enjoy the attention. And she goes, so Guinan just keeps dropping truth on her. Well, you just like Scoots, self-flagellating. Who are you? Guinan. I 10 Bar and I listen. Not like anybody I met before. And Guinan says, same with you. Never met an officer like you before. Sounds like we're going to be good friends. And Guinan says, yeah, I don't usually stick around long enough to make friends. And Guinan says, too late. We're friends now. But I'll be back. I gotta, 10 Bar and listen. So I'll see you later. Ro gets called by the bridge. We got subspace private message coming in for private FaceTime. Go to your room. Ro says, really? So Ro heads to her room, and she gets a FaceTime from Admiral Kennelly to subspace transmission, and says, report, yeah, everything's going as you said, Admiral. And that's all we see. Then we see the Enterprise. Then Picard's got his jacket on, that jacket from whatever season this is. 5, okay, yeah, we talk about the moon, some interference. We're on a timetable. Where's Ro? Not ready to transport out? Already did 8 hours ago. Not on board the Enterprise. Or they checked the log or whatever. 6 hours ago, Scoots. Oh, so it's Worf, Troy, Data, Picard, and then Riker's overseeing things. He says, what in the double hockey? I got to say double hockey sticks once an episode. They go into like a rocky area with moonlight and stuff. Looks a little bit like Pirates of the Caribbean, the first scene in Disneyland. And Data's got some molecular displacement traces, movement in the last 10 hours. And he goes, okay, let's standard search pattern. Maintain tricorder link, Worf says. So Worf, you're with me, Picard, and then Troy and Data. They start searching. A little bit of a set, practical set. They say practical effects. Practical set, the effects are, there is practical effects like lights and stuff, energy fluctuations. Troy calls Picard, no signal. Data calls Picard, doesn't work. Data calls Worf, does not work. Signal's jammed. They go into another room. Picard and Worf are there, busted by mysterious figures at first. Curious poses or whatever. And they say, yeah, like, stick around. You're going to meet our boss. And this mysterious character comes out with Ro behind him. He says, Captain Picard, how you doing? I'm Orta. And I've been through it because of the Cardassians. So hasn't been pleasant. I was a guest of theirs. And Picard goes, it's not necessarily surprised us. He goes, well, after I talked to Ro Laren, I decided it was. This is a cool part, a little bit of a buildup. Well, it's been a disservice. Picard goes, I'm here for peace. Orta says, well, I'm interested in change, not peace. I don't think you are either. Ro Laren says, by the way, I'm here trying to help. Picard goes, well, you messed it all up. And Ro says, I want everybody to listen to one another. You don't know all the facts, Picard. And that's when Garen or whatever says, you don't know everything. There's something else at play. The victim of deception, I don't know what's happening. Because you were supposed to seek out Bajorans that did something to Solarian 4? And Picard goes, yeah. And he goes, I already told Ro Laren it wasn't Bajorans. And Picard goes, dun, dun, dun. And then just a look on Ro and Picard's face. Go back to the Enterprise. Riker's there. They go to the bridge. Worf's like, this doesn't make any sense that they didn't do anything to Solarian 4. They go, well, he has no reason to lie. Troy says that I detected no fear. And then they go, well, who did it then? Why would anyone want to falsely implicate the Bajora? Data says, well, someone draw us into the conflict. Well, what would anyone gain by that? Picard goes, Ro, in my ready room. Troy has a concerned face. They go into the ready room. And Picard goes, you didn't have permission to leave the ship. And she goes, yeah, I'm sorry. He goes, this isn't a discussion. Restricted to your quarters. Dismissed. Go to your room. And Ro heads off. There's a pause and a breath. Grimace. Nice slow, scene. Then another of Enterprise circling this moon. Laren in her room in bed thinking, doorbell once. Doorbell twice. Laren says, what in the heck? I'm trying to lie here and think. And Guinan comes in, this time in a blue, royal blue? I don't know. Very cool, like a little bit of more velvety. What's up, friend? She goes, why do you always say, she goes, Ro, I think you have your poles reversed. Do you want to talk? And she says, there's nothing you can help me with. And she goes, well, why don't we talk? She goes, I got myself into this. I can figure it out on my own. Just like Scoots tries. And Guinan just gives her a caring look. Ro keeps talking. Everybody's pulling my strings. Got no control. Guinan says, sits down. Looks at her slow, real slow, used to silence. And she goes, yeah, for people like you and me who've lost their homes, sometimes that's the way it feels. And Ro's using her fingers to kind of think it out. She goes, I'm in trouble, big trouble. There's more going on here than anybody realizes, but no one's going to believe me anyway. And I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know who I can trust. Even yourself? Yeah, even myself. Guy says, okay, well, a long time ago, I was in a lot of trouble. And found a friend named Picard. And she goes, and I mean serious. I had to trust one man. And we go to Jean-Luc in his ready room. Bell rings, come on in. It's Guinan and Ro. He goes, she's supposed to be in her room. Well, Ensign Ro's got something she wants to talk to you about, Jean-Luc. He's got a pad in his hand or one of those neon orange things. She goes, well, after she's done talking, she can go back in your room. Why are you involved in this, Guinan? She's my friend. And they just stare each other down. That's like some sort of code, but also the truth. Then she looks at Ro, looks at Picard, and heads out. Picard says, okay, take a seat. Picard is not shook, but he's inquisitive. Yeah, Guinan doesn't call a lot of people her friends, so. And Ro says, when I lay this out, it's going to be trouble for me, one way or the other. But I guess this is the way it's got to be. I can't keep it up. Picard goes, what? She goes, Admiral Kennelly came to me and said he'd get me out of trouble if I go on a mission. Yeah, I know that part. Not a mission we're on, though, Picard. One secret mission for Kennelly. And he goes, she goes, yeah, your mission's hopeless. And they knew that. My job was to give Orta incentive you couldn't offer, one Starfleet couldn't offer, military industrial complex type stuff. And Picard goes, I thought we were past all that. And he goes, I find this impossible to believe. Admiral Kennelly would do that, escalate the situation. And she says, it's true. I didn't leave the ship without permission. Kennelly told me to leave it last night. He called. There's probably a record of the FaceTime. Picard says, oh boy, this is, he has to sit down. Doesn't check his fish tank first, but he tosses his pad on his desk. He goes, that would be a violation of everything the Federation stands for. He goes, you must know that. And she goes, well, it's a direct order. I didn't have a choice. She goes, but also, I've been through it with the Cardassians. My dad. She goes, I know what they're capable of, and it's not it's not a rock by baby. It's not blankets and milkshakes. And she says, so, I know the stakes here. And she goes, for a long time, that complicated my ability to think about it, because I thought it was my fault, that being a Bajoran was not something to be proud of. And she goes, now I've realized that those feelings were misguided, but they're still a part of me. So again, very nuanced, and she goes, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm proud of my Bajoran heritage. I serve the Federation, but I am Bajoran. And this Starfleet Admiral gave me an opportunity to help my people, and I had to accept it. Picard glares, breathes in through his nose. He goes, did you make this offer to Orta? And she goes, no, because there's something else not right. Especially when he said the Bajorans weren't even involved. I wanted to get to the bottom of it. And Picard goes, wise choice. And he goes, have you talked to Kennelly about it? She goes, no, sir. I don't even know who I can trust anymore. But that bartender of yours has a way of getting to you, She said you were her friend. He goes, well, we have that in common, Ensign Ro. Picard goes, do you think Orta would cooperate with us to determine the truth? And Ro says, yeah, I think so. And Picard goes, okay, good. Our orders were to find him and send him, go back to the camps with him. So that's exactly what we'll do. Ro says, and then what? Picard goes, we'll watch what happens. And they go back and forth. And we see the Enterprise Captain's Log supplemental. Something's going on. Conspiracy, Picard says. But I'm hopeful we'll get to the bottom of it in the next few hours. Then he has a FaceTime with Kennelly. Great job. Ensign Ro's invaluable. What's the next step? We'll escort the Bajorans to Valo 3 with Orta and his people on board. And Kennelly says, great. And Picard goes, how's your cold, buddy? He goes, a lot better. Thank you, Jean-Luc. I'm pleased. We'll report back. Picard out. And they say, Ensign Ro, you fly the ship to the coordinates. Data, keep an eye on the Cardassian border. They head out. Bajoran vessels moving up from the surface. I mean, there's a cut for a little time. There's a lower shot on screen. We got the Bajoran vessel, hailed them. They don't have FaceTime, only audio. Okay, no worries. This is Captain Picard. We'll escort you to Valo 3. Okay. We can only go half impulse, so no worries. Okay, head to Valo 3, half impulse. So they start going. And it's a smaller ship, purple jets. And this data says there's something going on with Cardassian space. 2 ships on the border. 152.051. Can you identify the class of ships, Worf? Yeah, those are Galler class type 3. Top of the line. Yeah, they're coming parallel to our own. Okay, yellow alert. Let's keep an eye on it. Ro, how close are we going to get to that border? 13,400 kilometers. ETA, 8 minutes. So that's where it's going to go down. So we have another little cut scene of the ships. Then they're getting, okay, Cardassian ships are changing course. They're crossing the border. Okay, they're powering up. Okay, red alert. Ensign Ro, intercept course. Call the Bajoran vessel. They call Bajorans. Hey, there's 2 Cardassian warships. Stay on your current course. Okay, acknowledged. Cardassians are in visual range. Put them on screen. And they're hailing us. Open a channel. Worf. Hey, what's up? This is Jean-Luc Picard. Who's this? How can we help you? Yeah, this is Gold Delac, Militia 4-1. We're here. Hey, great. Love working with you, Gold Delac. Love the Cardassian neighbors. So do we, by the way. This is totally what we're supposed to say. Mutual goodwill and all that. Chop, chop. Picard says, what's on your mind? Oh, there's a Bajoran ship. It's a troublemaker. Picard goes, troublemaker? Oh, we're certain of it. We know the markings well of that ship. And Picard goes, well, we're watching them. So these are Bajoran settlers headed to Valo 3. You can watch us if you wish. And they say, no, you need to withdraw and leave this matter to us. Picard goes, this is neutral space, dude. No jurisdiction. And they say, nor do you. Picard goes, well, if we withdraw, what are you going to do? And he goes, we're going to, what do you think we're going to do? WAR, what's it good for? Absolutely something to us. Picard goes, no, this is a promise. We're escorting them. And they go, yeah, but these are people we don't get along with. Even Worf's glaring. Picard says, we cannot withdraw. And they say, any steps necessary? Picard goes, what do you mean, any steps? And he goes, this is a complaint from your Cardassian neighbors. You have 1 hour to withdraw. Outs? And Picard goes, call Starfleet and route it to my ready room. Can't call Kennelly. So we have a standoff of all the ships. And Picard goes, yeah, they knew our course, Admiral. It's so strange. Our plan, everything. And he goes, oh, yeah, they monitor everything. They got taps and stuff. He goes, but they picked up Orta ship too? And he goes, listen, Picard, what's important is to protect the Cardassian treaty. And he goes, I don't see any way to protect the treaty without leaving the Bajorans on their own. He goes, great idea, Picard. And Picard goes, no, that's not my idea. We're escorting them. He goes, you got to look at the big picture, Jean-Luc. We got this Cardassian treaty is number one. And Picard goes, I see a different big picture. It looks like this. You caught a cold at a meeting with the Cardassians, and you were talking about Solaran 4. Oh, we got a common, someone, can label them. And if the Cardassians can't find them, maybe you can. I'm beginning to see that our mission has been, in fact, to find Orta for the Cardassians, not to help anybody. And Kennelly goes, you've lost your perspective, dude. And we'll discuss this further when you return. But now, direct order to withdraw. And the dude's in his, he's in a black uniform, Kennelly. I don't know if that's like his Admiral Action uniform. Picard goes back to the bridge. Everybody looks, and he goes, Ensign Ro, set a course 187.102, 1/4 impulse. And Riker says, we're going to withdraw, direct order. Picard pulls his shirt down and looks at him. That's all the yes Riker needs. They head out, the Cardassians move in on the Bajoran ship, and they're moving towards the Bajoran vessel, hold present course. And they make the Bajoran vessel go bye-bye. And it's gone. Big farm, the vessel, which is probably like $1 billion ship. I mean, like lowest, They say, Kennelly's calling again, secure channel, ready room. Picard goes, no, main screen them. This is the oldest trick in the book. And he goes, what's your report? And Picard goes, Cardassians took out the Bajoran ship. Kennelly goes, oh, too bad. Everybody gone? No. Picard goes, no one was on board. Kennelly goes, what do you mean no one was on board? Ship was remote controlled. Subspace relay. He goes, whose idea was this? Picard, yours? No, Ensign Ro's. I fully endorsed it, because I thought something was up. And then Kennelly goes off the rails. Why would you protect Bajorans? He goes, I'm concerned with protecting the honor of Starfleet. Picard says that. Kennelly goes, what about Solaran 4? Or Kennelly says that. And Picard goes, they didn't even have the technology to do anything to Solaran 4. Their ships are old and obsolete, man. Like, where's your reality, Kennelly? Couldn't even have done it if they wanted to. And they go, well, who's responsible? And he goes, why don't you ask the Cardassians, Admiral? It's the only explanation I can think of. It's a staged thing. Kennelly goes, oh, boy. The Cardassians? Why would they do it? They've tried to find somebody in Starfleet like you, Admiral, that would solve their Bajoran problem for them. Someone with just the right naivete. And Kennelly looks kind of glaring. Enterprise crosses our screen. We're back at one of the Valor places, Ro and Picard talking about Kennelly will be in trouble. And Ro says, if he's on Jaros 4, make sure you tell him to get a room in the East Wing. The West Wing gets hot. Well, we'll drop you off in a few weeks. We got to do some surveys in Sector 21305 first. And Ro says, I could get another ship back or something. He goes, do you wish to be relieved of further duty? He goes, I think you should remain in Starfleet. She goes, you got to be kidding me. He goes, it would be shame for Starfleet to lose someone with your potential. She goes, thank you. This is the second redemption episode, kind of. This uniform doesn't fit, and you know it. Picard goes, well, that can change. And she goes, nah. Past people doing laundry. And Picard goes, I noticed qualities that if you harnessed and molded that you have. And she goes, don't count on it. And he goes, also, you got a great deal to learn from Starfleet. And yeah, Starfleet's got a great, she goes, from me, they can learn from me. He goes, that's a common attitude I found with the best officers. You're not there yet, but you could work at it. It's an interesting challenge. And Ro says, and I rarely refuse a challenge. One condition, though. And Picard goes, what's that? And she says, that I can wear my traditional earring. She didn't say it. She puts it on and Picard smiles. And then he calls Enterprise to beam up. They could be like a Enterprise After Dark, to beam up. And with that, the episode comes to a close. And another meeting out there in subspace. Good night, everybody. All right, I want to thank some people that recently became patrons: Kevin, Ann, and Jarita, Tyler, Jennifer, Krista. Thank you, thanks. And good night, Katie, Ted, and Janae. Thank you, thanks, and good night, Anna, Drew, and Rachel. Thank you, thanks, and good night, Locke, Morgan, and Paul. Thank you, thanks, and good night, Trent, Bella, and Kimberly. Thank you, thanks, and good night, Shannon, Esther, and Lau. Thank you, thanks, and good night, Carol, Lou, and Scott. Thank you, thanks, and good night, Ella, Amelia, and Sarah. Thank you, thanks, and good night, Nicole and Vivian. Thank you, thanks, and good night, and Antoinette and Eco. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Thanks, everybody, for supporting the show directly on Patreon or supporting our sponsors or subscribing somewhere else. That's how we come out free twice a week. And we grow as a podcast by people spreading the word about the show or just podcasting in general. I couldn't do it without all of you. Thanks so much, and good night.